I know that moving forward, I believe that for a lot of you on this call, having this approach to business versus like the speculative but calculative, and Nick said some amazing tools, like having those systems in place will allow you to grow. So that was marketing. I wanted to cover off on the marketing piece. So don't be afraid to use the engine that's been designed to create customers.
This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nick Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business, get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today. All right, well, that leads me to our main bill for tonight. We've got James Wellington here tonight to come and talk to us about his 5 system that scaled a 300 million plus scaled 300 million plus in high ticket sales across a number of businesses. For those of you that haven't met James before, he's the owner and co-founder of the Amala Group. He really is an expert in building scalable, streamlined systems. I have seen him in Facebook ads years ago when he had a digital education. In fact, I think he had one of the biggest digital education companies in Australia. So he really walks his talks, and he's responsible for a lot of the digital consultants out there that have created businesses and careers in this digital industry. He is the co-founder of Ease Consulting, and he really does have a practical, results-focused approach. He is down to earth. He's an entrepreneur at heart. And in fact, when you see the things that he's involved in, it's like it's a wonder he gets any sleep at night because they are so exciting. He's built he says here, this, I got this off ChatGPT too, but ChatGPT gave me another James Wellington. But he said he's built a 20-member sales team in just 4 months. But he told me just before, when we were in the chat, they've got 80 over in the Philippines there. So this is obviously a little bit outdated as well too. So if you do want to check out what he was doing previously, it was a digital marketing school and he was the chief revenue officer there. And he's got a podcast. So make sure you check out the Business Superfans podcast. So that's the one that he's the host of. So let's put your hands together. Welcome to the stage, James Wellington.
Thanks for having me, guys. ChatGPT throw me under the bus there on a couple of things. I don't have a podcast. I joined the podcast.
You don't?
I don't. And then that was correct. That was our previous sales agency. So it would have been a post I put on social media. It's funny trying to navigate the world of AI, but look, I am grateful to be here. It did get a couple of things correct, I will say. So as mentioned, my previous business was Australia's largest digital marketing school, privately owned. So we have over 12,000 students across Australia and New Zealand. So I do know my way around an ad set. I do know my way around marketing. Obviously, that's where I started. I've been very fortunate. Some of my team's actually on, so you don't have to jump on and say hi, guys, but just maybe give a hey in the chat box. My business partner, Brody Ober, he's here today. So when I say co-owner and co-founder, he's the co-owner of the Amala Group. We call it the Amala Group because what originally started as just, a sales agency, a marketing agency, is then branched out into a finance company in Australia, a finance company in the US, a tech company, a door-to-door company. We actually have about 8 separate entities as a part of the group. So we're very, very fortunate, very blessed. I am a believer in God. So if you hear me say God's plan, God's timing, or feel blessed, it's because I give all glory and grace to God. So, I'm super blessed and been chosen for some great things in this world. And I'm excited to be here today because, I believe that entrepreneurs are the way of the future. And there's so many people here, especially in the online business landscape, that are doing such great things. And I definitely believe, the coaching consulting space, there'll be sleeping giants that will be awakened after tonight's call. So I'm excited to be here, pour in my wisdom, knowledge and understanding of what we've done and, give as much value as I can. So I'm not a slide man. I've got a couple of other teams. So I've got two other team members or three other here. Noreen, I saw Brian and Sarah, you guys were here as well. They'd be laughing. James has no slides. I'm not a slide person. I don't like to present like that. I just like to flow off the cusp and, just be myself. But the big thing I want to discuss tonight, guys, is obviously the opportunity that we're in right now. Nick obviously mentioned some amazing AI tools that are in the marketplace. I believe never before has it been easier to make money online, and the technology advancements in which we're developing, not only ourselves, but worldwide. There is so much opportunity for people to really capitalize on the digital space. Like if you feel like you may be below, like low on the trend or slow on the trend, you've actually caught the wave at the peak. I believe if you're in the digital space right now, it's just going to get stronger by the day, and especially the digital coaching space. We work with some major brands. We've worked alongside Brian Tracy, Philip Kotler, Dr. Joe Vitale, just to name a few. We've run the sales and marketing teams for each of those guys. Obviously, as I mentioned, digital marketing school through Ease Consulting in America. We work with some of the major guys in the space. We've just recently brought back on Myron Golden. So that was cool to see, So the same conversation I'm having with those guys is that they're really leveraging the digital landscape. We had a client last week alone, and I know in Australia sometimes it feels like coaching can be slow. It's like, is there that much growth? Is there that much happening? We had a client, Jeremy Anderson, a coaching consultant. He's our business partners with ET, the hip hop preacher. And for me, it was an eye opener because I always thought we were playing big games in some businesses, and they had about 800 people in the room. The pitch was a $1.3 million pitch. And I sat there and I said, there's that much abundance in the world. And even at times I pinch myself and remind myself, like, am I truly going for the big things of potentiality which I have? And I reflected upon the journey with these clients and also Jeremy and his team. And it really came back to understanding data, and also came back to understanding that having a great offer, which is something that I'll mention tonight. And I'd love to, pick someone or multiple people to talk about your offer. How do you just articulate what it is that you do? What's the value that you deliver to other people's lives? And how do you make it very simple? I think a lot of the times, and I noticed a few people putting blurbs in the chat section, we sometimes can overcomplicate what it is that we do. We can get very caught up in a multitude of different silver bullets, next shiny object, different things. But fundamentally, business is very simple. In fact, we generally, for all of our companies, define them by 5 key things. So we focus on these 5 key components: marketing, software, sales, systems, and finance. Now, our system we call the unfair advantage, because obviously it has been responsible for over $300 million across our own businesses as well as that of our clients. But for us, the system is very simple. I don't think sometimes we need to do more in order to make more. In fact, I believe less is more a lot of the time. And with the advancements of technology for coaches, consultants, there is such great opportunity to grow. Who here, checks every single thing, and you feel like you're chasing one rabbit and then another rabbit and then another rabbit and then another rabbit, and everyone's saying TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Google? Like who he's found themselves in that? Give me a yes if you've had that experience. I can confirm I've never done a floss or danced on TikTok in my life, but we make a lot of money from TikTok. So who's found that for themselves? It's like, where do you go? What do you look at? What do you do? Who here is running ads? Like, who here's got a working ad mechanism? I just like to know the audience so I can best tailor towards what we do. Or is everyone more organic? Give me an ads or organic or neither.
I've had ads. Just hi.
How you going?
Linda from Melbourne. I've had ads up. I've been online for over 15 years, but I had bricks and mortar businesses, gyms, chiropractic offices, those sorts of things for many years prior to that. But I've been online in education and consultancy for a long, long time. But it's been mostly and mainly organic, but ads are about to kick in again. So yeah. And
Awesome.
I can dance, but I don't dance online.
That makes fun of us here because I definitely can't. I've got to. So look, the great thing about that is that I always say this to people is that your organic marketplace and your organic audience will then tell you what you should be doing from a paid perspective. I call it a digital sandbox. Sandboxing in marketing is basically where you test. So when you sandbox something, you test. Think of like a play pit for children. You test and you play and you practice. I call the organic space the sandbox. If you don't have a huge email list or a database, if you put a post up and it gets traction and it gets shared and someone does and does and does, and then all of a sudden you engage clients and people like, hey, I love that. So what I always used to do when I was starting out, now we literally just get our Amex out and we put money on ads because we know a system. But when you don't have that confidence, it's about testing the ad campaign on your audience and seeing the response, taking that information, set aside some of the money in which you make, then reinvesting that into ads. Because the truth is, and I've got friends that do millions of dollars organically, but the same thing they say is it's unpredictable. I want predictability in business. The reason why I want predictability is because I want to put my head on the pillow and I want to wake up to leads. I don't want to be the dancing bear by having to post and do content and do this and do that. If I can have predictability, I can have scalability. If I can have scalability, I have unlimited growth. Does that make sense to everyone? I feel like sometimes we get very caught up in, yeah, but when I make money, I will do, or if and then when. And it's like, if you're able to get $1 from an organic post, I've always looked to set aside and have a stop loss budget and be like, I'm going to go put that into something. I used to say to my team, I'm going to get some money for ads. I'm going to get some money for ads. I'm going to go and grind out and get in the DMs and do the Facebook and do my lives and do my posts. But the moment I made 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 10,000, I'm out and I'm going to ads. So I think I wanted to share that because it is a very key component. And one thing I will say, and I know Nick mentioned at the start, is the organic algorithm. And I can confirm this because we've got a lot of, I guess, reps that we deal with directly with Facebook because of our ad spend. We talk directly. It is designed not to let you win. I will just say that. And this is on Facebook. So Mark, don't just shut me down because I've said this and use some AI algorithm. I'm telling the truth. It's very obvious. It's not designed to let you win organically. Because think about it. How much in the last 5 years did your organic reach start to go down in the last 2, 3, 4, especially 2 to 3 years? I remember the glory days when I started 8 years ago. And Linda, you said you've been in the space 15. I feel like a baby sometimes when I go on these calls. But like 8 years ago when I started, I could do a Facebook Live and my whole audience would see it. And I'd be like, yeah, everyone's seeing me. I'm rocking here. Like, this is great. And do a live and real impressive. And I was the live guy, do live after live after live. But now I'll do a live. And unless I've posted 5, 15, 20 times that week, the live will get crickets. Because if you go on your social media and if you're someone that does and clicks on ads, guess what happens? The ad recency and the amount of ads that come through will increase, and therefore there'll be less of a gap. I even recommend doing a trick right now, having a look at your own social media and actually seeing how close the ads are in relation to when you scroll. I guarantee you won't go 2 or 3 clicks without seeing 3 or 4 ads. Once upon a time, you could scroll, no ads, scroll, no ads, scroll, scroll. It's designed to be that marketplace. So just remember that when you're seeing that, your audience is seeing that. So that's why it's important to sandbox, test, get into ads. The other thing as well to remember is that attention scales. And that doesn't mean a diversified attention. That means a calculated, specific attention. I know my platforms. I've got an okay following on Instagram, but I know for myself, my best audience is Facebook. Yes, with ads, they're both Facebook and Meta. I don't like long form copy. I'm a busy guy. I'm the CEO technically of 8 companies with more companies onboarding each and every day with our new publishing offer. I don't have time to sit down and film a long form video. I know my team's probably sitting there like, James, we'll cut it up, but I just don't have the time. I've got ADD. I can't sit down and do a YouTube video and then hope that it creates something. So I know for myself, I'm able to film content, put it onto Facebook, get that distributed and get that outcome. The moment I see something hit, pull that campaign into marketing and then go and let it just run. Does that make sense to everyone on this call? I want to share this because for me, fundamentally, we are again very blessed and I've been given some great wisdom and knowledge from, investing lots of money myself and also, learning from some extremely great mentors. I know that moving forward, I believe that for a lot of you on this call, having this approach to business versus like the speculative but calculative, and Nick said some amazing tools, like having those systems in place will allow you to grow. So that was marketing. I wanted to cover off on the marketing piece. So don't be afraid to use the engine that's been designed to create customers. At the end of the day, social media is designed to create customers. That's what it's built for. It's a marketing tool. From there, we then use a software. Now, Nick wanted me to mention this. We are giving a giveaway. So team, we are going to give someone access to Easy Check for free. So we'll do a draw at the end. We sell this for $3,000 USD, so 29997. I want to bless someone on this call because I believe it could transform their life and their business. So I pray that, whoever wins it is going to use it for good. We've developed a soft credit score system, basically a non-invasive application pixel that we plug on your landing page. I'll show you guys how it operates. It's only available to use in America. I can't yet justify it or have it approved here in Australia. But basically, when your lead opts in, I can pull up to 12 points of financial data, including their debt to income ratio, their credit score, how much they're approved for finance, basically their loan income rate, all these different points, and actually know in real time if they can afford my offer or not. That's why I said it's the unfair advantage, not the partially fair advantage. And I'll show you guys how that looks in real time. Does that make sense to everyone? Like when you opt in for a lead with your name, email, phone number, myself and my sales team know exactly how much is in your bank account. It is scary. It is legal. I will make that clear. We are a finance company first and foremost, so we are heavily, heavily regulated. We're patented this system. It's proprietary to us. There's a couple of other guys that use similar. What we do in America is we actually push that data into our finance company using an API key, which then gives us a pre-approved financed amount against our finance company, Ease Consulting. So in real time, we'll know that client can be approved for 50, 60, 20, 10, $5,000, $8,000 before our sales team speaks to them. I said I don't have slides, but I will just show you in real time how that works. I've got my Slack. I'll use that. I think it's better to show that than to just talk about it. So this is how it looks from a lead booking perspective. So here we go. There it is. And these are real leads as of today. So this particular campaign we've just launched, it should do 500,000. It's a brand new offer. It should do 500,000 USD in about 3 weeks. It's actually our own offer. So we're on track for 500K. This is the information that we're receiving. So that's how a lead comes in. I have their DTI, their available credit pre-approved $15,000. I have all that information with everyone I speak with. You can see some sales guys commenting their income, 137,000. It's to about 80 to 90% degree accuracy. So when we're speaking with people, we know in advance who to speak with. They have $26,000 available, zero. There's new leads coming in. So sorry, it's refreshing. Yeah, as you can see. So that's the level of software we've developed for our clients, ourselves, and obviously our businesses. We do install this, and I will be giving this for free for someone that is running ads or is using a landing page. So would anyone think that would be valuable for their business to have that knowledge? Yeah, Fred's giving me triple thumbs up. Yeah, Linda, yes, everyone. Any questions so far, guys?
Yes. How do you access that information?
So we use a FICO 8 score, and basically the pixel pulls directly against Ilion and Vantage in the US. We're regulated obviously with those governing bodies, and we pull a FICO 8 score in real time and then sends it through to our sales force. And then what that does is obviously pulls the data into your CRM, whether it be Go High Level or whatever you use, and then basically gives you that information in real time. So a lot of red tape, put it that way. That was a simplified version of how we got it and how we.
So James, does it only work in the US?
Only work in the US. We are working on Australia with our aggregator partner here in Australia, LMG. Due to the success of the technology, they are helping us to bring it to Australia. But Australia, we sort of needed Donald Trump at some point to give some data laws and a little bit of loose data. But our government's very strict, so we're waiting. We do finance across Australia and the US, but for now, it's just available in America. It is. It's because back when who's ran ads like 8 years ago? Whoever ran an ad 8 years ago? Nick, do you remember the glory days? Linda, do you remember when you could like literally get all this data. And then like you used to be able to get some pretty interesting, do you remember those days?
Yeah, 100%. And also the ads that we actually spent hours devising are now being used everywhere,
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, so took us hours. Took us
literally.
so much testing. Yeah.
Literally. So what we've done is we've brought back that glory day in America. We actually have another software, and again, I won't go full tech. I'm a bit of a nerd, so if I waffle, I digress. I apologize. I just get real passionate. We are developing a new software that'll be even next level to this, which will have a dynamic landing page. So when the customer's information comes through, there'll be a dynamic URL plugged to the back of it. So the customer experience will be tailored towards what they can afford. So imagine this, your customer comes in, they can only afford a low ticket offer. They're then pushed to your secondary page. They can only then see your low ticket offer. They don't even get pushed to your high ticket offer. Even one step further for e-commerce, we're developing this and we're going to trial it with some brands that we work with. So we do some marketing for Foot Locker, New Balance, Smirnoff, Nordic Track. We work with some of those guys. So for Foot Locker and New Balance, a dynamic URL landing page, what we'll be trialing is like, imagine like ethnicity, gender. So when you come onto a screen and you're a Caucasian female, even age, the dynamic URL will change. We're pulling 400 points of data instead of 12, actually tracking the person. So when they come to the landing page, it'll be like, hi, Linda, welcome. Let me show you the latest Adidas shoes based upon the data we've pulled from you, and you'll see your exact customer journey. This is in the works. This is nerding out. I digress, but this is why I said at the start, technology is advancing. We're all in on fintech, all in on marketing technology, but I believe like this is what I think everybody on this call should focus on is how can you get marketing technology to generate leads? That is my personal recommendation. How can you get marketing technology so you have this engine that when the time comes, you're just reaping the rewards? Does everyone sort of get that?
Yes, and absolutely. I'm sure there's other people that need to speak, but
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
this is what gets me excited. So mostly people say to me, it's like you're inside my own brain. That's what you're actually saying about the journey. Almost at every point, people don't have to think.
Of
It's a
course.
sad thing to admit, but yes, that's exactly what their journey with you needs to be.
Exactly. And that's changed. So with the amount of attention and the amount of social media, like the attention span of individuals has changed, and therefore we're actually wanting to be told to do. There's this whole misconception in the marketplace that people believe that online buyers are skeptical. Did everyone forget COVID? Did everyone forget COVID? We couldn't literally go to the shops. We had to. I purchased a concrete table like from James Lane. I purchased a sauna. Don't ask me. I was living in a two-bedroom apartment in Melbourne. I had a sauna in my lounge room. It was a good idea at the time. I purchased so many at Peloton, you know, those bikes. I purchased that because I was getting a bit overweight. I bought like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of things without ever going anywhere. And people tell me that we can't generate a lead and have a person with a buyer's skepticism lowered. But more importantly, if the technology that we use, knowing who to call, why to call them, when to call them, not even wasting time by having to qualify. And sort of say to my sales team, you no longer have to heat check. Who here's been in sales or does sales themselves? Like you spend half of your call pre-qualifying, asking random questions, trying to get the financial data out of it. So tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in business? What would be your rough monthly rent? Like you ask these questions trying to get a gauge versus our team just walks in and goes, yep, I'm calling you, I already know. You've got $20,000 available in credit. That's the speed to lead to speed to conversion that's coming in the world in which we live. Is that making sense to everyone so far? So I've covered marketing, software, sales. So utilization of software and systems is key. Gone are the days where you would just go and speak to a prospect. Like, has anyone seen the movie Focus with Will Smith and Margot Robbie? Where they basically get the Chinese billionaire to go and select the number at the end, and that's where they win all the money. That's what marketing's becoming. It is like psychological warfare. Every second of the day you're being marketed to. Every single thing in which you're experiencing from a day-to-day basis. So I always say to people that I work with, they're like, what's your marketing like? I said, Hotel California. And like, what do you mean? I'm like, you can come, but you can never leave. Hotel California, I'm going to make sure that by the time you've opted in, you're never leaving. You're not leaving with an empty cart. You're not leaving without a decision. It's always that. So that's why I was mentioning, if you're just posting on Facebook and just doing a post to post to post to post to post, you're literally only getting their attention once. But you know, the funny thing about the algorithm, and Nick also mentioned this from the AI Reels, those keywords can now be tracked by Facebook. And guess what? If you've talked about Facebook or you've talked about coaching or business on your reel and you've only done a reel and there's no retargeting of an ad, guess what? Facebook realizes that you've spent 2.5 minutes watching someone else's Facebook Live where they've spoken about scaling a coaching business. They know you're interested. Guess what? The person that's spending money on ads, they're going to get targeted. This person needs coaching. You're helping your competitors by not running ads. Have you ever thought about that? You get all these people bought in and let's do it. And next minute, Mark Zuckerberg and the team go, oh, Colin's interested in coaching. Colin, Dr. Christian's interested in this. This person, retarget, 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 because they've got to reward their spenders. Because the more they spend, the more they make, the more they make, the more they keep growing. And that's the thing. So I always want to remind people that people think they're hacking the algorithm by doing an Instagram or a TikTok or this. And no, I've got all these people, comment marketing or comment scale below. You're actually helping me by doing that. You're helping your competitor by doing that because you're driving engagement to a keyword which Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Google all then reward. Is this helpful, by the way, to everyone? I can nerd out pretty quick. I'll take a breath, grab a drink of water. Has anyone got any questions for me? Feel free to ask.
That is a really interesting concept, James. I have not thought about that, and normally I think about stuff. But the fact that the content that you're posting on Facebook is used for other people that are paying Facebook to target those exact same people to sell them the stuff that you're selling yourself. So in a sense, if you're not advertising, then you're missing out on a whole lot of clients and customers that are the ones that you want to get.
For sure. For sure. Even to the point where my team will actually go and see people and we'll target followers. There's ways you can do it where I'll just go and target views on someone else's video. I'm like, why would I reinvent it? To the point where I've done ad campaigns where I've seen other influencers in my niche do it, and I'll literally go and dress myself up similar. So the algorithm will almost recognize me like them. They're wearing a blue shirt, I'll wear a blue shirt. They're wearing glasses, I'll wear glasses. I know it's getting next level, but the algorithm is looking for patterns, for keywords, for images, for videos, for views. So if I've got this and someone else is running an ad, it's successful, I'll go and duplicate it that way. The funniest thing, and one of my mentors said to me, and I want to make this really, really clear, it's so obvious. Guess what? I'll tell you how you know what's working in marketing. You can't hide it. You can't hide good marketing. It's just true. If it's not working, it stops. If it's working, it keeps doing it. So I always imitate, innovate, and invent. I always copy what's working. I'm the biggest copycat when it comes to marketing. And I'm so proud to say it. I'm going to get a badge that says copycat marketer. Like it's just true. Like, why would I go and reinvent the wheel when I can imitate and innovate on what's already working? One of the best marketing campaigns was Coca-Cola Pepsi. Pepsi did a can of Coke, and then might be the other way. Coke did a can of Pepsi, and then Pepsi did a can of Coke and turned the blue into a cape like Superman, and was like, it was just so creative. It was exactly the same ad, and they just changed it and made like Coke can in a Pepsi cape. Like, it was just brilliant. They've done the exact, it would have took them 2 minutes to do, but everyone knew both sides. That's Coca-Cola. They don't like Pepsi. That's Pepsi. They don't like Coca-Cola. Like, it's so simple. Kanye West, Super Bowl ad. Does everyone remember Kanye's Super Bowl ad where he's in the car wearing looks like tinfoil, but it's grills, and that made him over $76 million. Why did that work? Was because people were relating to TikTok, to not caring. Kanye's like, I don't care. I just did this. Here's a discount. People love that edge. Where was that trending from? TikTok, where people go live and they just talk and they just get engagement. He's copied what's working in TikTok. People sitting in their car, yeah, I'm going through a breakup. But yeah. Kanye just did that on live television at a mass scale and produced it to everyone. People thought he was crazy, but he made $76 million. His whole thing was, I've got no money for ads. I basically went broke because I've been sued by Adidas, etc., etc. Next minute, poor Kanye, boom, everyone bought. But sometimes we get so caught up in this belief that we need to do a perfect production before we can just do production. Reproduction of ads, of campaigns is way better than a perfect production, if that makes sense. Aldwood, I think you had your hand up.
Thank you, James. Yes, this is very interesting. My background is traditional media and free publicity, and the world of mass media has changed so much in the last 20 years since social media has gone crazy. So my question is around paid ads. So I've done a little bit of paid ads in the past, and it hasn't worked very well for me. And I know that people I've spoken to the last few years, they're saying they're spending more and more on ads to get the same kind of cut through they were getting, a few years ago. So what are your thoughts on that as to how much you're investing in ads to get the cut through now compared to, say, a year ago or 2 years ago?
A lot of people that are new to ads focus on cost per lead, cost per click, things like that. The only number I care about is cost per acquisition and ROAS. So if I can get cost per acquisition and I don't have to go and do all this other work, I'll pay $500 to get a $5,000 client every day of the week. It's a free license to print money. And that's where I think a lot of people make the misconception. Yes, it's way more expensive for a lead, but the CPA, if that matches and you make money from putting, I call it an ATM machine. If I can put in 1,000 and get 3, I'll do it all day. For me, my biggest battle is making sure we've got enough liquidity with our Amexes. I've just had to talk to my team. I'm like, I've got to go and get 3 more because we're now publishing businesses where we basically do all the marketing, all the sales, and we're publishing companies. But part of that we'll go from spending 5,000 to 10,000 a day to 100,000 a day on ads. So I'm making sure we've got that there for spend. And that's where I think people, they get shy from it versus I'll do it for free. I think there's a rapper, and I said this to a client the other day, and there's a guy named YG, and he said, scared money don't make no money. And it's like you're in business. So you've got, part of business is getting media, and you'd know this, for yourself, like the media attention still gains attention for the business, which then leads to conversion. It doesn't matter how much the attention costs as long as it leads to a conversion, if that makes sense, Aldwin.
It does. Yeah, I must say I'm resisting. I don't want to pay Facebook anything because I don't like how they operate in many ways. They've just shut down my account and I had 20,000 people on it. I've got backup, but, I don't like how certain social media operate, and that's why I don't focus on just one social media. So I don't particularly want to be giving the money because I don't particularly like what's behind it, even though I use the tools, but I have multiple tools. I have, I don't just rely on one social media platform. And I think it's important to get people off social media and to build your own list as much as possible as well. So yeah, I have some resistance there to paying some of these people.
I say this to people, I don't like marketing. I don't like sales, but I'm guided by God and the vision of what God's given me, and the tools in which God's given me is to go and impact people's lives. And the fastest way to do that is to go where the attention is. I don't sit there and love marketing. I don't sit there and love spending thousands of dollars a week on ads, but I know it's the fastest way for me to get to the vision of building the company that can have the impact on the world in which I want to build. For me, I'm focused on a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I'm not going to build that hiding from marketing myself. We've done really well and got a lot of enterprise deals that have really jumped our business up to, 7, 8, and 9 figures in finance. But I know for the attention piece, I need to be everywhere. It's not pretty. I don't always like it, but I know that God's chosen for me to go for a huge vision to impact the world. I actually lost my mum due to breast cancer in 2006. So part of my mission is to lead to the eradication of cancer and build a company and an organization that can give 10% of our company profits month in and month out from a good Christian perspective, like tithing to charities and give. And I don't want to just give 1,000. I want to be given $1 million a month. So I know that's going to come down to attention, if that makes sense. So I do agree with you. And there are things that annoy me. And I've had friends with $1 million. Oh, sorry, not $1 million, 1 million followers, which is $1 million. $1 million. I sound like Dr. Evil then. 1 million followers, and their account's been shut down and they sit angry and they get mad. I've had businesses that were doing $5 million and then left and just had their income drop from like $500,000 to start again and rebuild. I've had won things, I've lost things, I've done things, made good choices, bad choices, but I know God's chosen me for greatness. So for me, part of that is how can I get out and everybody know and everybody comes in. And yeah, I get afraid, I get scared. 33 years of age, and I never thought I'd be spending $10,000 a day on ads, let alone 100,000 in the coming few weeks. I'm like, this is big boy season, but I know. You go, Linda.
Sorry, that's amazing. Thank you so much, James, for saying that. And thank you, Aldwin, as well. And I agree. Sometimes I get a little bit disgruntled with this, that, and the other. I will say this, James, that having a bigger vision always, always, always helps. Any advertising is a little bit boring. Working with people is really good. And sometimes the people I get to work with actually don't have anything solid or actual to sell, so they do get scared. So $500 a lead might sound a bit crazy, or $1,000 a lead might sound a bit crazy for some people. I know I can get them to that level. I also know I got to work with one of the best advertisers in Melbourne ever, ever, ever. He was a personal training client of mine, and he literally used to, back in the day, get up on the banners that weren't being used around Australia, such as the football team, such as the places around, the big banners, actual old school banners, and actually put his advertising placards for his clients up on them himself. Go up there, ladders, all the things, get arrested, do the whole thing. So he's like, well, you guys aren't doing it and the space is available. So my clients are paying, I'm going to use it. I'm happy to pay you, but where do I pay? Where's the check going to go to? So we don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
We literally just have to go here. It's kind of easy compared to what other people used to have to do to put themselves in front of other people for good, not evil, for good. I mainly work with health professionals in some way, or people helping make money for good. So maybe he was putting up Coca-Cola signs in the day, McDonald's, who knows, the enemy. Anyway, but he did it. He's like, I got arrested for actually using space that no one else was utilizing. But he's like, get on with it. I've got advertising space to sell. Let's go.
Agreed. I think the acquisition side, even if the client has that, it's the attention that comes. I said this to we just published my mate's business. So one of our sales reps, Lee, he's also my mate. He's never really ran ads. He was really like scared. And he's like, oh, I've already spent like, $700. Like, I don't know. I said, you may not see the return immediately, but the truth is you have attention. And I was like, just write it out. We'll spend 1,000. We'll get it money back in. But I said also too, like Nick said this at the start, you don't know who's watching. What's so funny is like, and again, if you guys run ads, I've got a little hack that I can teach you really quickly. If you run a likes campaign to your page and set up a ManyChat bot anytime someone likes your page, it's very cheap leads. Be careful though, you can get a lot of like international non-qualified leads, but if you just want cheap leads, I wouldn't recommend it. But sometimes it's where our budget is. Run a likes campaign, set up a ManyChat bot that anyone likes or follows your page. You'll get literally dollar leads. That's one way to really counterbalance it, to get conversations. And starting out, it can be a good way. I can go into another training another day, Nick, on how to get $1 leads. But I think just look at it from a perspective of where does that lead you to? I always teach my team to ask for a referral. If my ad cost is up, I say get a referral. Who remembers like that old Minesweeper game back in the day on Microsoft where you click it, the bomb? I think that of like leads. So I'm like telling my team, get me 3, get me 3, get me 3. Who's your friend? Who do you know? So I'll always look to like work through, like, and I'm always telling my team. And Brian Tracy actually said that to me. He said the fastest way to grow a business is to ask the person who you've got the experience, did they enjoy the experience? They know anybody else that could actually enjoy this experience, or could you refer anyone? So use your ads to get referrals. we've grown our finance company exponentially, and it feels like, you know, the ants go marching 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4, and we've got that now. So Nick's seen it in real time. It's like, we had a conversation. I said, Nick, who do you know that's need finance for your business? Who needs this? Who needs that? And I always work that way, and then you never know where it leads you. So great question, guys. I've obviously digressed a little bit, but I think ads can work for everyone. So I agree 100% with what you said, Linda. Sometimes it's like the initial upfront versus how much it costs, and people are like, whoa, this isn't for me. But it's where can it lead you to? So obviously the next part, and then I know we've probably got to wrap up soon, Nick. I don't want to go too much over time, but obviously the systems, where are you driving your leads to? Where's your conversion going? We use Go High Level. I think it's a great CRM. Again, the digital market. This isn't planned. I've just got these books all over my house because we ordered like 2,000 of them and not enough people took one, so I'm left with like 1,000. So then my diaries every day. I'm old school. But yeah, with digital marketing school, I know for ourselves that we got all of our students to use Go High Level, and it was a game changer. If anyone's not using Go High Level, it's very simple, very functional, and it operates as a very, very good CRM. So I would definitely recommend that. We do that with all of our clients. And then obviously the last thing, of course, I'm going to say it is finance. That's the number 5 from our system. If you get a client and you get a lead, give yourself the ability to get paid up front. That would be my recommendation. If you're acquiring a customer on the front, you need the ability to get finance on the back. And the reason being, in the economic, I guess, downturn, or, you know, it's not really a crisis. I'm half and half at the moment. Some people say it is, some people say it's not. But with the economic constraints in the world, utilizing finance for yourself and your clients, and getting your clients to utilize finance, is very important. We call it LOPM, leverage other people's money. So if you're selling a coaching program that helps someone to advance their life, it doesn't need to be money. It's just some form of advancement. It then becomes a, hey, let's make this work for you now. Let's help you to step into that future self, whilst also utilizing cash flow positivity for you to get that outcome. That's where we've seen the biggest growth in our company, and hence why we've now built our own ecosystem of marketing, sales, software, finance, and technology. So guys, that's a very simple breakdown of our system, the 5-phase unfair advantage. Use those 5 systems. I can guarantee from this meeting, if you go and implement those things, there'll be multiple millions of dollars flowing abundantly to everyone. And I pray the Lord blesses us all abundantly, you know, because I believe there's abundance in the world, and we've all got those magic things to give to others, that goodness. So let's do it, team. Any questions? Let me know.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you, James. Man, there's just so much in that there to unpack. And I'm sort of thinking, I had an easy day tomorrow, but I think I'm sort of fairly full now, sort of implementing some of what you've talked about. So, yeah, any questions there tonight? Aldrin.
Yeah, I got 4 of those. So software, systems, finance, technology. What was the other one?
So marketing, sales, systems, software, finance.
Oh, thank you.
That's all right. I'll write them down in the chat.
So we deal with some of the software with our cool online tools at the beginning. You have to agree with you. Go High Level it's hard to beat these days for its simplicity, ease, and the power that it's got behind it all. Any other questions here while we've got James here?
Yes, question on the advertising that you do. So where do you do your ads?
Generally we start on Facebook, Instagram, so Meta, because you can market on both. And then once we've got like diversification, we'll start to go to like Google, because it's a very easy, like Google AdWord, and then YouTube. So that'll be generally our order: Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube.
Great.
What for your offer? Yeah, I would definitely, I'm just trying to think. I was going to say TikTok, but TikTok's e-com. Like people are arguing it's lead, but the demographic on there, you know, the average age on TikTok's 12. Yeah, that's the average age. It's e-com. If you sell a fidget spinner or like hair glitter, go on TikTok, but not for high ticket courses or anything. It's 12. Like that's actually the age, 12.
Can I just ask James to that TikTok? We don't have in Australia, there's no TikTok shop yet.
No, it's coming. You can
Okay.
you can crack it. I'm not going to say how to do it. There are VPN crackers. No, I'm not going to do black hat marketing today. Nick's like, no, don't go there, Jay. There are ways around, but yeah.
No, or 12-year-olds. Yeah, I don't currently have anything to sell 12-year-olds, but that's okay.
A lot of coaches are utilizing it and like service providers, but I just say to them like, come on, you're meant to be professional. Don't dance. Stop dancing. They do the point, and I'm like, stop pointing at things. It's weird. You know, you want your client, you want to attract a high level client. Each of you are high level, and I can guarantee that. And you want to attract people that you want to work with. You don't want someone that's like, you've written set type scale and you pointed at a screen and like, yeah, I always like say to coaches, I'm like, just relax. Like you'll attract who you are meant to attract. Be that person. Let them see you've got your shit together. Be that person. So yeah, not TikTok. I don't like it for coaching. If that answers that old one.
Yeah, well, I actually have been loving doing TikTok lives. I just did my Global Good News Challenge today on TikTok, and I'm actually loving playing around. I'm getting so much more interaction on there than I do on Facebook. So I've actually been really enjoying it. And I heard that the stats were changing with TikTok, that it was attracting an older audience. So I don't know about the 12 years of age. That's quite amazing. I'm going to look into that because I've heard that it's actually a much older demographic now that's coming into TikTok. So I think it probably depends what you're doing. I've heard that some people are doing well with lower end courses with a you know, and I guess it depends what you're doing on there. And I would agree with you. You know, you want to be where the people are. And I think, you know, TikTok is one platform that you can grow organically a lot quicker, I think, than other platforms. And I think a lot more people are getting frustrated with Facebook, with the censorship, with YouTube, with the censorship over the last 5 years, all the fact checkers, etc. You know, I think more and more people are wanting freedom of information, and that's why they're supporting more of the other platforms. You know, the BitChutes and Telegrams and Rumbles and, you know, other platforms now as well. So I think we're very fortunate to have so much opportunity to get our message out with so many different platforms now.
TikTok will be, like, from what I've gathered, and I've got some very good like insight and very, 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 very well connected people in the space. TikTok won't be that good if it doesn't get passed by Trump, just for FYI. So everyone, so I wouldn't hedge my bets. That's why I'm like not against it. But look what happened when America said no to TikTok. I had clients crying on the phones to me. That's why I'm like trying to prepare people. Like, literally, I had American clients crying. I'm done. I've just bought a house. I'm like, relax, relax, relax. They'd spent so much time. That's a government shutting something down. 325 million Americans. I think their numbers were like 20, 30 million on TikTok. More, probably more. It was like 60 million. Boom. Shut down overnight. So that's something to really remember and keep in mind. So I always track where the safety. Google's never going out of business. Facebook's apparently one of the leading buyers for potentially getting TikTok. There's a bit of like they call them like the marketing cartel. They're all coming together and they're going to, or the tech cartel, I think they're called, and they're like bringing together like the guys and they're going to buy up the, you know, TikTok. So yeah, that would just be my personal thing. That's why I do suggest that. I've got a lot of like that sort of insight from a few others, just a lot of people that are like really big budgets, like even bigger agencies than mine. And that's where the news is. And I always try to pass that knowledge on. So yeah, definitely agree, Aldrin. But yeah, don't hedge your bets.
No, well, my live video on TikTok, my team then shared it to Facebook, Instagram, you know, LinkedIn, all the other, you know, YouTube. So we share it all over the place. So we don't just leave it on one platform. But also with Facebook videos now, live videos are only there for 30 days. So you've got to download it, you know, so the platforms just keep changing all the time. And, you know, you can lose a lot of content without even realizing it if you're not up with it all.
Agreed. Awesome.
James,
yeah.
Could I ask you a question about Facebook advertising? And it's an auction system, the amount, supposedly an auction system, the amount that you pay per click. The issue I've got is that it seems to me that the more you buy on Facebook, the higher the cost per click goes up. And it stops me every time because I feel that's not right. And I just can't get myself over that barrier, my own imposed barrier of how come the click cost keeps going up the more I buy. I should be getting a discount, not being charged a premium. How do
That's
you
all right.
cope with that?
It's not the cost per click that's going up, it's the actual overall spend. So as your spend goes up, the actual recency, the traction, the video, like whatever you're running, it'll go for longer, and therefore the price will rise. You don't want to focus on cost per click. That doesn't really matter. Are you running it to a landing page, or are you running it to lead form?
I don't actually run, I've got a team that runs it. So I don't know the actual details. But when I've looked, it looks like the more I spend, the cost per click goes up, which is like, I don't understand it. When I ask them about it, and Google Ads is the same, they say, yes, it's an auction system, but I don't believe it's an auction system, because it's an auction system with a reserve price. So if you were in an industry where there was no competition, for example, then you should get your ads really, really cheap. But there's already a floor price that they set. So it's not a true auction system like they say.
So think of an auction system like this. I'll explain it like I always, because everyone gets that, like, it's auction. Nah. So what it is, it's like you've got a rapid bidder. So imagine you're at an auction and there's like, doof, 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 but they favor that person, even though your paddle's up, because they have a bigger budget. That's what the auction is. It's like you've got an auctioneer, but it's his friend, and he's like, doosh, doosh, doosh. And you're like, my bid's here. Hey, give me a lead.
Yeah, yeah.
The auctioneer knows that's the buyer. The person spending 10 grand, they're going to go to them. But I put up at the same time for the same bid. No, they're going to the guy that spends the 10.
Yeah, so if you're a small business, which we're a medium-sized business, but what the issue is, we're having trouble going from a medium-sized business into a large business.
Yep.
Because it seems to me that the social media platforms and Google, they only want to deal with really large corporations, like that have hundreds of employees, for example. They don't really want to deal with small business or even medium-sized business. That's in my mind.
Nah, definitely not. Definitely not. Because the more small businesses they get, small businesses power growth. So they want to help your business grow. So it's not there to, don't think of Facebook. And I do, you know, I want to protect Mark. He actually built a platform, and it's not just Mark, it's Facebook. They're not trying to take your money. And that's what I used to say to 12,000 students on a weekly basis. They're not here for me. They're here to actually give you more access to more people and more money. So look at it differently. They're going to want to give you some early quick wins. But the way in which you stand out is to, in your situation, if you're new to ads, don't copy as such. Copy to a point, but have a little bit like, you know, Nick's wearing a bright shirt. That's an attention grab. Break the state. Don't just do a very bland ad. Like, do something that's going to grab some attention, get some attention in, get the algorithm seeing you. There's multiple different ways you can do it. But it's like right now, it comes down to sitting in the tension and being willing to spend and go backwards before going.
I am willing to spend, but I only spend probably 10% of what I'm willing to spend. I actually, if it was just me, I would walk away, because it's like, I don't want to deal with this energy. But it's not just me. There's 90 people that rely on me. So I have to suck it up and do it.
What is your business?
I'm a psychic astrologer. I write horoscopes for all the well, not all of them, but a lot of the mainstream media. So Channel 9, The Guardian, Daily Mail. I've got a psychic network.
Love it.
And it's the largest in Australia and New Zealand. And I can spend 10% of what my budget is. That's how stupid it is.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is, they give you like a manager. You know, they're always, but they swap them every 3 months. So you get an ad manager that's supposed to help you, but they're gone in 3 months, and the next one's in. So
what are you optimizing for on your ad campaign?
I'm not doing it. I've got a team that's doing it, but they contact me directly, you see. So
connect with me. We can connect after. I've got a lot of team as well. If it's not working, don't hit your head against the wall.
Yeah, well, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
I just feel like I can't get see, a lot of the companies that are my competitors are American companies or English companies, and they are big, hundreds of millions of dollars.
It's not that. It comes down to what I know, and this is like obviously with our agency, you want to know, and the people aren't teaching you that, or they're not telling you why. And that's where you're frustrated. And that's what I always say to my team. When a client wants to know, explain it to somebody that doesn't know. Don't just think they do know, and don't try to act smart. You know, my team's on there. We've said this multiple times. Brody's probably laughing. I'm like, guys, don't bamboozle the client. A satisfied client is a knowledgeable client. And the more a client can know, the more secure they will feel. So what you're experiencing isn't it's like they're giving you like this from a marketing perspective, and you're just like, why? But why? And they're not giving you the answer. So your frustration's like, well, it's there. I can tell you it's not these guys, it's not Facebook. It's these guys here. And I'm not going to badmouth another agency. I don't do that.
Right.
I never would, but they're just not giving you the information for your peace of mind. I've told
Right.
12,000 people to give the client information that needs them to feel validation of what their money's getting spent and accordance. Again, would never bash another agency. I believe everyone's trying the best, but your frustration is not with them. It's here, if that
Right.
makes sense.
We do make money. We are making money.
Yeah.
And I tried the ads, running the ads 4 or 5 times myself, and I spent tens of thousands of dollars. I couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
So the agency I've got is making it work, and I've had them for 10 years, but it's a bit like, you know, if familiarity breeds contempt, in a sense that if you've been with the same person for a long time,
Yeah.
anything could happen.
That's all right. And again, sometimes it's just a fresh set of eyes. But look, I'm happy to chat, reach out. I know Nick's got an agenda. I went over time. I apologize, Nick.
All good, all good.
Thank you, James.
No worries.
Excellent. Actually, that just brings up a point. You know, if people do want to contact you, what's the best way to do that?
I've got a funnel here that everyone can log into.
Is that the one you sent me before?
Yeah, the one I sent you. That will generally book with one of the team. And then if you want to talk with me, just let you know that you've come through here. Yeah, that'll be easy. My calendar's pretty back to back, so I don't have a direct one, but that one, and then we'll go to one of the team and just let us know. I know Nick sent through someone, and I just said, hey, Nick's told me to talk to this guy, so they're booking them in manually. That'd be easy. But I'd love to talk to all of you guys and see where I can help and offer value. That'd be good.
So that link is in the chat. So make sure you do save that chat at the end of the night, and then you can click through and have a conversation. And in fact, I can tell you, it's well worth having the conversation. I talked for quite a while with James when we first caught up. So he's got, well, as you've seen tonight, his concepts are pretty good. He's really grounded in you know, the reality of what's actually happening, and got a heap of experience and runs on the board as well too. So with all that there, if you have got a question, too bad, it's too late. No, reach out to James, book a call with, you know, so with that link that I've just popped in. But let's give a big round of applause to James for sharing his wisdom tonight. We do have a door prize as well for tonight, so don't disappear just now. So yeah, what's the door prize, James?
So what I'll do is the software in which I showed you guys, we'll spin a wheel. I know Nick's got a bit of a plan. I'll give one person on this call, obviously, access to Easy Check for free. So if you do decide to run ads in America or place it on your landing page, we do sell it for 3,000 USD. That's a gift from my team to the lucky winner today. So happy to give that to whoever wins. So yeah, that's awesome. The door prize.
Excellent. Jay and Lorena, did you put my name in this wheel as well too? Let's bring out the wheel and
put mine
see
in twice.
Yeah. So everybody's name is in here. Remember, you have to be in the room to win. So stick here. Otherwise, you know, if you're not here, then you just go and redraw it again, second time around. I think we did it 3 times last week. All right, well, let's spin the wheel and see who our lucky winner is tonight. And there it is. Virtual drum roll, please. And here we go. And it is the one person who was doing the virtual drum roll, Fred Gillen. I think there was intention in there, wasn't there, Fred?
Oh, mate, I just put it all out there. I'm saying, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. And there you go, it works.
Awesome.
Fabulous, fabulous. So I know that
Amazing.
this will be great for you and your business.
Awesome.
No, I appreciate it. And thanks, James. Really look forward to working how it works and spreading the word about it too.
My pleasure. I appreciate that. If you could just drop your email, Brian, would that be okay if you grab Fred's email and we can connect with him there? Brian's from my team. So That'll be good. Thanks, Brian. You're a king.
And we'll connect you both up by email tomorrow too if it doesn't pan out. So all good. Well done, Fred. Glad to see you won it. Thanks again, James, for sharing all of your wisdom and knowledge tonight. Well, not all of it. It's probably just scratched the surface of it, I think.
My pleasure.
If you've enjoyed it, and you do want to watch it again, because there was heaps of stuff in here, it will be up on the Smash Go YouTube channel tomorrow. So we normally get it up there by mid-afternoon. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, now's a good time to go and do that. We'll just drop the link into chat. So if you do subscribe to the channel and then click that little bell that appears when you subscribe, then you'll get a notification as soon as we've uploaded that video, so you know it's there. And if you know someone else that would be interested in this as well too, feel free to share that with them, send them along to the YouTube channel to come through and watch as well too. And the link that is in chat, I'm sure James will be happy enough for you to share that out as well for anyone else that wanted to book in a time as well too.
Love that. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Awesome. Excellent. All right, well, look, we'll be back again at the same time next week. Next week, you get me. I'll be talking about what happens when Facebook shuts down your group. Thanks, Aldrin and Jeff, for that recommendation. We're going to be talking about communities, how to create communities off Facebook. Doesn't mean you don't have to use it, but how to sort of really create communities that get engagement outside of that particular ecosystem, and how to use that ecosystem to drive people to your communities. Awesome. All right. Well, look, everyone, have a good night. Thank you for coming along. Thanks again, James. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Have a good night. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nick Cree, spelled Nickcree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.